What's up, everybody? What a great September 17th we're having. Lions coming off a big loss at home versus Tampa, and I'm just in a terrible fucking mood. Just the game, life, everything. So we're just gonna run through this real quick. Lions lose 20-16 Sunday afternoon against the Bucks. Baker looked like a world beater. Jared Goff looked like dog shit. Aiden Hutchinson looked like the defensive MVP. Some bright spots here or there. A lot of dark spots the majority of the day. Namely our offense. I'm going to be honest, although the numbers were pretty gaudy, Goff's turnovers and our inability to execute in the red zone absolutely dog-fucked us. Does anybody know where the hell Sam Laporta is at? I get it. Sam Laporta got hurt in training camp, missed a bunch of it. You know, Dan Campbell was asked just yesterday or today about Laporta, and he kind of hinted at they didn't want to overdo it and strain him too much. And so that's kind of where Sam Laporta's been at, but I need Sam Laporta to put his big boy shitting pants on. He needs to kind of take over that Josh Reynolds role. I don't think the chemistry with Jared Goff and Tim Patrick is there yet for that to happen. So Sam Laporta needs to step that up. Jared Goff needs to do better under pressure. It's been kind of his thing ever since he first came to Detroit. I bitched about it a lot in his first year. When Jared Goff gets under pressure, he gets a little happy, makes bad decisions, and he's not mobile enough to extend plays the way that, say, a Baker Mayfield is. And if Todd Bowles was successful in doing this, it showed the rest of the league that although we do have a dominant offensive line, although playing not to the same level they were last year, playing a little bit under what their potential is, Jared Goff will make bad decisions. And when Jared Goff makes bad decisions, regardless of how much you're trying to force feed the ball to J-Mo or Amon-Ra, no matter how good your run game is, if Jared Goff's making bad decisions and causing turnovers, then you're not going to win the game. Compound that with, let's be honest, one of the biggest head coaching blunders of Dan Campbell's tenure here in Detroit. Normally we're pretty clean, we're pretty crisp on execution and implementing a plan and following through with that plan. At the end of the second half, when we tried to clock the ball and the field goal unit was running on the team, and we got that stupid penalty, man, that is just sloppy. That really kind of encapsulates the entire day for the Detroit Lions. Things just weren't going according to plan. Nothing we could do, even if done right, was going right for us. I mean, we did have a tremendous run game. Goff threw for over 300 yards, but in a losing effort, namely not being able to execute in the end zone or in the red zone. You know, if you end up kicking that field goal at the end of the first half, then you're pushing a 19 to 16 or a 19 to 20 game. Instead of having to get the touchdown at the end of the game, you can kick a long Jake Bates field goal. It's kind of what we brought him in for. On top of that, there was a nice long, probably pushing 57, 56-yard field goal attempt Bates could have had, and we opted to punt, which, although sometimes you want Dan Campbell to punt and not go for it on fourth down so much. I mean, isn't the reason we bring him in because he's got this big leg that can kick? Why can we not continue the ballad of Jake Bates and at least give him a crack at it, right? Now, Greg Joseph was signed off our practice squad by the Giants, so the player mentor kind of dynamic we were striving for on our practice squad with the veteran kicker to help Jake Bates has now been tampered down a little bit. I think Bates would have hit it. I got faith in Jake Bates. Apparently the coaching staff was not too high on him, or we were getting too into our own head. So, I say it all the time, but it's just a matter of a few inches here or there, and things could have gone a lot differently for us. But it starts with Jared Goff, man. And if Jared Goff's not going to play well, then, like I said, no matter how productive Monty and Gibbs are, no matter how many times you force the ball to Amon-Ra, no matter how many times you force shots to J-Mo, it's just not going to function, man. We really do not need that third wide receiving option to step up. Fireball Tim Patrick was targeted a couple of times. One beautiful catch along the sideline. He just couldn't quite get his feet down. That is a timing thing. That is a chemistry thing that him and Goff should be able to work out, hopefully, over the next couple weeks. Because, we're going to Arizona, and Arizona has been a high-octane offense all season so far. So we're going to have to put up points. Excuse me. We're going to have to put up points to keep up with them because although our defense is not terrible, I mean, fuck, dude. If Baker's going to run all over us the way he did, Kyler Murray's going to have a fucking field day, right? Like, going to have to figure something out on how to stop a mobile quarterback because, dude, Baker Mayfield at this stage in his career shouldn't have been able to do what he did to us. A couple of plays to extend drives, pick up first downs, rushing for a touchdown. You know, that's just something that you shouldn't be having happen when you have a talented defense or a as talented defense as we should be. Just not quite everyone playing up to expectations. And to finish my thoughts off against with the offense, you know, last year we had probably the best offensive line in football, and although we do have two of the top 5 players in the league on the offensive line with Frank Ragnow and Penei Sewell, I've not been impressed with Graham Glasgow so much, and I've really not been impressed with Kevin Zeitler all that much. The switch for Glasgow to move from right guard to left guard seems to kind of being a little bit of a learning curve for him. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a curve for him. I knew there would be some things that he's going to have to learn to do differently. He's playing okay, but honestly, I'm overall not been that impressed with Kevin Zeitler. Maybe over the next couple weeks, again, him and Penei can continue to develop that chemistry. I just see Goff being pressured too much. I'm seeing our offensive line being taken advantage of by subpar players, right? Kalijah Kancey was out of this game, and then Vita Vea was also out of this game, and our offensive line could not take advantage of that and be the dominating force that we know that they can be. So, on offense, Goff needs to clean it up. Sam Laporta's got to get right. We got to get Sam Laporta right. Or you know what? Maybe the league figured out Ben Johnson. Maybe the league's figured out Ben Johnson, and it's just the typical curse of the Detroit Lions, where once we get good, everyone figures us out, and then it's back to the fucking dumpster fire for the next 10 years. I hope not, but I just got a big old gray rain cloud above my head today, fellas. I'm just not fucking feeling anything, dude. I hate my fucking job. I hate my fucking job so much. And what's even better is that I work for a company whose CEO hates all of us. She thinks that we're all just like pieces of human feces. In fact, one employee had something he was trying to address with her just the other day, and this bitch literally ran out the building on the other side of the building, a door she never goes out of, and tried to literally, you can see it. I watched the security footage. You can see her scurrying around the building in an attempt to avoid this motherfucker because she was just such a strong leader of men, loves to sit upon her high horse and cast down judgment upon all of us and tell us how imperfect we all are, because it goes God, then this bitch, then Jesus Christ in terms of perfect people that have ever existed. And now when the individual did finally catch up to her, she wouldn't even take her fucking sunglasses off to listen to the motherfucker speak, right? Wouldn't even take her fucking sunglasses off. So just the type of place I work for. And then what's even more exciting is that, like 5-6 years ago, if I wanted to find a new job, I could just find a new job relatively easily. But unfortunately, I live in a country that has so many dumb motherfuckers that they willfully voted and encouraged the collapsing of the U.S. economy just because it feels good. It just feels so good. Vibes. Woo! Vibes! And then they lie about all the job numbers and totally tank the fucking market to the point where I can't fucking get ahead even if I fucking wanted to. So that's why today's just kind of in a shitbox mood of a video. We're going to be real short. Let's just run through the defense real quick. I thought the defense played relatively okay as far as the Lions defense is concerned. We're just going to have to come to realize that regardless of who we stop, one wide receiver on the opposition is just going to absolutely tie us to a bed, ball gag us, and fuck us right in the ass all goddamn day long. Puka Nacua did it, or was starting to do it, and then Cooper Kupp came in and fucking did it. And then Chris Godwin proceeded to absolutely have his way with every single one of Aaron Glenn's orifices for the first half of the game. And then Baker proceeded to do Baker things. I don't know if we were able to phase out Chris Godwin, or if it was just Baker decided to stop absolutely having his way with us and felt pity on us for our defensive backs being able to not cover a not Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver. I mean, Mike Evans had a day, not a great day, but Chris Godwin proceeded to absolutely dominate us. We did bottle up the running game against a subpar running back attack. We were able to take advantage of some weaknesses along the offensive line. Let's not get too down on the defense. Aiden Hutchinson had a great day. 4.5 sacks. I would have just rounded. I thought it was a solid 5, but now he's at 5.5 sacks on the season. I called Aiden Hutchinson. I called for him to have 24 sacks before the season started. I called for him to have 24 sacks to set the NFL single-season sack record. He is now like 19 away from hitting that. Totally feasible, totally viable. Hopefully he has another. I'm not going to say, I'm so bummed I came across this at the end. I'm coming back to rewatch. Oh, right on. Thanks, John Cole. I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, it's not going to be real long, man. I'm sorry, John Cole, bro. It's just, dude, I'm just not feeling it today, brother. I am just not fucking feeling anything today, man. I'm just dog fucked, bro. I'm just dog fucked. So, Hutch did though have a big day. I liked what I seen out of Hutchinson. Levi Onwuzurike. You know, I really love the fact that we've been able to stick it through with Levi Onwuzurike. Getting that big sack early on, it just shows that Brad Holmes is not willing to just give up on guys, right? He gave Levi all these opportunities through the injuries, and this season he's really kind of flourished in his role, really kind of been able to take his play up a notch, and you like to see it. DJ Reader, I was watching him all game long. The dude just controlled the line of scrimmage, ate up big bodies in the middle. It was great to see, and then, of course, with him doing that and Aleem McNeil being able to kind of flourish, you did see our front four get into Baker's face a little bit, but Baker being a little bit more mobile than, say, your Matt Stafford's was able to extend plays, break out of the pocket, roll out, get a rushing touchdown, which is why I'm really worried about Kyler Murray this week, because he is a far superior athlete to Baker Mayfield, right? Maybe doesn't quite have the arm talent, but as far as athleticism, he's a lot better. He's also really, really good at... Dude, Kyler Murray does this very bizarre slide where he can wait, and maybe it's because he's so little, he can wait until just at the very, very end, until you're practically in the air and unable to stop, and he'll start sliding, and then you're going to get flagged for an unnecessary roughness penalty. So that's something that does need to be watched out for, because we do have an aggressive defense that swarms to the ball, plays with their hair on fire, which you like to see, but this could be a time where it kind of fucks us in the ass a little bit. I called for Terrion Arnold to have a big game, and Terrion Arnold got a real ticky-tacky PI call on him early, and then, of course, and I should have talked about this during the offensive segment, well, the first interception early on, that is not Goff's fault, man. That is just piss-poor officiating. So now we know that regardless of the product that the Detroit Lions put on the field, okay, we know that although last year we were winning heading into the Dallas game, we were the hot team, really, really going our way, regardless of what happens, okay, regardless of how good of a product we put on the field, at some point the Ford family has upset the powers that be of the NFL. They have, at some point in the history of the franchise, the Ford family shit right in the hat of the NFL officials, and they refuse to ever call a fair game for the Detroit Lions. Look, I know I can sit here and I sound like a whiny bitch blaming it on the officials, but god damn, yo, you guys are so fucking obvious at making non-calls against the Detroit Lions. Hutch was getting tripped game one. That PI, J-Mo was getting tackled, bro. That is the textbook definition of pass interference, and he couldn't throw the fucking flag, leading to a game-changing turnover early on, a big tilt in momentum of the game. Come the fuck on, dude. The refs fucking hate the Detroit Lions. The league fucking hates the Lions. So unless we play an absolutely perfect game, the league will not allow us to get the Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs calls that they get all the fucking time, because regardless, we are not the anointed ones. We are not the holy ones. There is nobody who is marketable apparently on the Detroit Lions in a national media like sensation. I mean, you see Amon-Ra doing commercials for like Little Caesars, but even then, he's not the most like charismatic individual. John Cole, I only caught a post-game interview with Hutchinson, and I have too much respect for him, and I know he handles games like this. Yeah, dude, Hutch is a pro, dude. Hutch is a pro. That's John Cole with a good comment right there. Hutch is a pro, dude, and like, what really sucks about losing this game is that he had such a monster game that just gets overshadowed by just the loss, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of how big of a game and how good of a game you have, it's still an L's an L, and that just takes all the wind out of your sails. You know what I'm saying? But Terrion Arnold needs to figure it out, dude, that he's not going to be able to get away with these aggressive plays that he was able to get away with in Alabama, because Alabama was able to get away with that type of shit. You don't get that kind of shit with the Detroit Lions, right? You're not the Alabama Crimson Tide. You're not the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't have the stripes in your pocket, dude. So Terrion Arnold's going to have to figure out how to play less aggressive, maybe. I don't know, maybe more cerebral. I like that he's on his defender. It's just you got to clean it up. It's only week 2 of a long season, but we are, a ninth of the way through the season already, so he needs to... I did see improvement on Terry Arnold. I want I want more. You know what I'm saying? I want Madden numbers out of my defense. I do think the defense needs to have a little bit better communication. The touchdown to Chris Godwin early on looked like just a lapse in communication on who was supposed to drop back into zone coverage. Clearly, the zone coverage isn't going to work for us this year. We're not a zone team. Gonna have to stick in man a lot and hope that you have the athletes. I think we do have the athletes. Once we get to that phase of the season, that everything's starting to come, and synchronize together, be a more harmonious unit. And Brian Branch, I thought Brian Branch was another bright star in the defense. He just continues to make plays left and right, inches away from making big turnovers. The first drive of the game where he covered Cade Otton and didn't even commit to the play action, just was able to tip that pass away from Cade Otton in the back of the end zone. That was beautiful. That was pure athleticism and a great job of coaching him up early on in the week, telling him exactly what to look for. But you guys know I've been really high on Brian Branch all season long. Special teams was not special. Leaf had some decent punt returns, nothing real flashy. Isaiah Williams was out, so we seen TK85 come back in and play as your kick return guy. Not wild about that. So the return department of our special teams wasn't necessarily the best or what I wanted to see. Status quo, Jack Fox, best punter in the NFL, did his job. Even now is 4 for 4 on pass attempts, which I thought was a ballsy play. Smash like if you thought that Dan Campbell doing that fake punt from our own 20-yard line was just the biggest balls play I'd ever seen. That's like Mark D'Antonio levels of balls right there, for real. And Jack Fox, knowing that he is actually a relatively accurate passer, was able to hit Sione Vaki, and this is what we thought Sione Vaki was going to be utilized for, a real trickery special teams gadget type player who can make tackles, as he was a safety in college, but can also use his hands and play running back. He's going to be a problem for teams in the special teams department moving forward. I do like what I see out of Sione Vaki. I'd like to see him maybe kind of work his way into a couple more snaps on offense, but it is what it is. So and then Jake Bates, the ballot of Jake Bates was solid, but did not get to continue. It was just maintaining the status quo. I would have really liked to have seen Jake Bates get a crack at that. I think it was the third quarter. It would have been a 55, 57-yard field goal attempt indoors at Ford Field, where he's accurate with a big leg. Jake Bates has a big leg. We've seen it time and time again in the UFL. You see it in practice all the time. I would have liked to have seen us maybe kick that field, go for that field goal instead of the punt, instead of playing the field position game. Not really what we know Dan Campbell for. I'm not the coach. I'm not the one to make the decision. I probably would have let Jake Bates try it, though. I mean, you guys know around here on the Hat and Beard Show, I'm a gigantic Jake Bates fan. Watched him with the Michigan Panthers all last season and was very impressed with what I've seen. So, not a increase in Jake Bates' stock value after this week, but not a decrease either. Just maintaining the status quo, coming in and doing his job. Maybe the coaches wanted to protect his psyche, not really, put him in a situation that they don't feel he's ready for yet. So, all in all, we played a shitbox game, and we got exactly what we deserved. Unfortunately, now, the Packers won, and they moved to 1-1. The Bears did lose, so now they're 0-2, and Caleb Williams looks like just fucking trash. I mean, I've been saying all offseason that Caleb Williams is overhyped fucking garbage. And then out of nowhere, Sam Darnold, the Lion Killer, is lighting it up in Minnesota, and they took down the mighty San Francisco 49ers. So actually, the Vikings are sitting as the kings of the NFC North right now. We're all looking up at the Vikings in sole position. I like to think that we'll be able to clean this up. I like to have faith in our coaching staff. I like to think, as much as I want us to be a Madden team, because Brad Holmes plays the offseason like he's playing Madden, we're not going to win them all. We're not going to score on every single drive. We're not going to either force a 3-and-out or get a turnover on defense. That's just not how it's going to happen. This theoretically is a one-off game. There was some stuff that needs to be cleaned up, a little bit of slop that needs to be cleaned up. I think our coaching staff is more than capable of cleaning that up. We need to springboard off of the positives of this game, correct the negatives, really lean into Hutch's performance, continue to develop the corners. Carlton Davis played all right. Amik Robertson played all right. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, we know what we're going to get out of those guys. I need Terrion Arnold to continue to develop and grow. What I need is Enos Rakestraw Jr. to be healthy so that he can get more reps and continue to grow and develop. Our linebackers, I thought, kind of had a quiet day. Not a lot of big splash plays to be made. Offense was just sloppy offensive line play, sloppy Jared Goff play, sloppy coaching, just sloppy Joe all over the fucking place. Just not a pretty game. And now we do have a whole week to kind of clean it up. And then we do have I think it's a 4:30 game in Arizona next week. So, a little bit of time, I guess, a couple extra hours for what it's worth. Hopefully we can correct it because the Arizona Cardinals are real hot, man. They're coming in hot. They are a real electrifying offense. And, Marvin Harrison Jr. had his coming out party last week. He went absolutely bananas. Do we have a corner that can shut him down? Can, Carlton Davis come in and lock him up? Are we going to ask are we going to ask Terrion Arnold to be that guy, rookie on rookie? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? We'll see. Yeah, that's going to be it. I'm just kind of in a bummer-ass mood today, guys. Just bummed, man. Just bummed with, everything right now. So, yeah, it's going to be it for me. If you're having a good day, smash like. If you're not having a good day, smash like. If you live in Ohio, don't eat the cats. Okay? Ohio, don't eat the cats while you're in Ohio. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I don't know much else. It was just not a great game, man. It was just not a great game. And unfortunately, I don't know how many of you are like this, but, my emotional status is kind of tied to the performance of the Lions. So, I went into this week kind of being already in a bummer mood. And yesterday I didn't do an upload because I had yesterday off. And I just didn't feel like uploading. I mean, I shit 7 times yesterday. I was not feeling so great. I was glad I had yesterday off. But my God, I was tired of pooping. All right. That's going to be it. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Bonga bonga. Brig off.